Hey, Bulldog fans, it is game week once again for the Bulldog football team. And once again, we're stopping into Coach Woodley's office just to get a little recap on what's happened the last week or so and take a look ahead to Valparaiso this weekend for family weekend. Let's go back to the South Dakota game. You guys go up to Vermilion 42-21, the final up there. What's your big takeaway after having a week to kind of sit with that game?
Yeah, it was a tough one, Michael, and but the reality, we were, 14-7 with a little over 5 minutes left in the first half. We got them 3rd and 10, kind of somewhat backed up. I think they were on their own 30. You get a stop there, you get the ball back. It's a whole different game. Instead, we give up a 70-yard touchdown on really nothing that play we hadn't not seen before. Just maybe a little bit of an execution thing and that's on us as coaches too. It's not always about the players making mistakes in those moments. It's about us trying to put them in a little bit better position or coaching them to be in a better position. But credit to South Dakota, a really good football team, and we knew that going in, and probably caught them on a day that they were pretty fired up. And that's not to excuse the fact that we weren't fired up, because I know our guys were ready to go. They were excited to play in that environment, and especially what we had done the week before, where we took the number 2 team into the country into the fourth quarter, with a shot to win. So we had some confidence going in there, and I don't want to say it left the building on that play, but man, that kind of deflated us for a moment, and then now all of a sudden there's still 5 minutes left, and they're up 2 scores. And then we come out, go 3 and out. They score, just because of some fundamental things. And again, sometimes your opponent has a lot to do with that, the athleticism, things like that. But all in all, the thing I will say about that game is our guys really kept battling, and I don't want to say that's an easy time to just kind of pack it in and say, let's get the heck out of here. The selling point I had to our guys, it was a 14-14 game in the second half. We won the fourth quarter 14-0, and they had an abundance of their starters in the game at the time still. So we were still doing it against some of their very best, and it was just a little too late. There was a segment in there where we turned the ball over 3 straight times on offense, and you just can't do that against a good team. The margins are just so thin, and it was frustrating just because I thought we were going to be able to go in there and compete a little bit better than we did. But certainly proud of the effort our guys finished with, and kind of gave us some things to build on here, as we went into the bye week and now into Valparaiso week.
Yeah, the second bye week of the season comes right after that South Dakota swing, and now it is kind of turning the attention towards Valparaiso. How beneficial has this last week been in helping shift attention to PFL?
Yeah, well, after you come off a game like that, you'd like to get into a game as soon as you possibly can. And then I was talking to Brian Harden, and I'm like, man, because I stopped into his office the other day, last week, and I said, did you know Valparaiso had a week off? So we both had a week off. So I'm like, gosh, it would have been nice to just play. But I know they've maybe played 1 or 2 more games than we have, and buys usually do. They come at a good time. You kind of find reasons why they come at a good time. We just came off playing 2 really physical games, and of course we had Chase go down with the injury in the first game, and it bought us a little bit more time. And we're hopeful that he'll be returning sometime soon. Not positive if it's going to be this Saturday or not, but at least gave him some time to recover. And I think I was telling you, Michael, the silver lining and all that, we still built some other depth at quarterback and saw a lot of positive signs. But I thought we put the bye week to good use. We only practiced twice last week. We went on Tuesday and Wednesday, but then we stole, I don't know if we stole, but we got another one on Sunday night, which is a night we don't typically practice anyway. So we got three work days in, and 2 of them really was just working on ourselves, because we've already done this before. We already had a bye week, and we had 3 really physical practices during that bye week on our last one, plus another Sunday. So we had 4. Just took 1 out. I know we haven't played that many games, but we've been at football now for a while. So you kind of wanted to give those guys a chance to get their batteries recharged, because this is a very important game, and this is an important time of the year. This is kind of conference play is kind of how you judge yourself at the end of the day, and we certainly got to get off to the right foot. And I want to make sure everybody's minds and energy was heading in the right direction. And we had probably one of our better practices we've had Sunday night. I can just tell our guys were hungry to kind of get going, get rid of those last two games, and get into PFL play and just try and put our best foot forward.
Yeah, definitely want to get off on a good start in PFL play, especially this year. PFL off to one of its best starts in a long time. What has stood out to you about watching teams around the league, and I don't know, how much added importance is it to get off on a good start on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's paramount because the teams are so good, and that's maybe twofold. I think it's going to be awfully competitive, and the only really PFL team I've paid attention to in the past was Drake, just because they're here, and certainly always kept a close eye on them, and just didn't dig into it too much. Didn't really pay attention to all the other scores, but since I've been here and obviously through this season, man, it's really turned some heads in this league, and I just saw. I don't know if they were ranked last week or not, but I saw Presbyterian got ranked this week. I know they're not on our schedule, but they're certainly helping the cause for this league being really competitive. And on the bye week, you get to watch some games. So one of the games I happened to keep an eye on was that St. Thomas San Diego game, because San Diego's our next game, and because Valpo wasn't playing, so. Just trying to maybe get a little bit of homework done before we play them, and that was two really, really good football teams, and of course there's been some other, I don't know if you call them upsets, but teams from the PFL that have won games against scholarship programs. So it's going to be a dogfight, and like you said, Michael, if you want to be in that fight, you got to find a way to win the first one to kind of position yourself to do that, and then as weeks go on, hopefully you're playing for bigger stakes as it goes.
Some new coaching blood in this league, not more than just yourself. You'll face new head coach over at Valparaiso, Eric Waddle, on Saturday. What have you seen from his Beacon squad a few games into this year?
Yeah, I just see, a team playing with a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and I got to know Coach just very briefly at the National Coaches Convention. Just really impressed with him. Seemed like just a genuinely really, really good person, and his team, they've gotten a handful of transfers. I think he brought a few guys from the school he was at prior to this. That's been very productive for them. They got one of their guys that I've been really impressed with, at least on the offensive side of the ball, is a transfer from South Dakota. He's a running back, and he had a really big game in their, I want to say it was their first game. He might have missed the second one. They lost, and then he's played a little bit sparingly, it seems like, the past two games. I don't know if something's going on there with an injury, but certainly got a lot of respect for him, and big physical offensive line, kind of a two-headed system at quarterback, and a couple dynamic receivers. One I think is really dynamic. He's also dynamic in their kick game, return game, so to speak, and then on the defensive side of the ball, they are active. A lot of pressure, a lot of movement. Our heads are, we better have them screwed on pretty tight up front, because they're moving all over the place, and fast, physical. I think at one time they were second or third in the FCS in tackles for loss or minus yardage plays. So it's going to be a challenge, and they're essentially, kind of like us. It's kind of the new season, a fresh start for everybody, and I think both teams will certainly play that way, and they're certainly going to give it their very best, and I can assure you that we are, and we're going to be prepared for it, and hopefully we, hopefully, like I said, just put our best foot forward.
The Upper Iowa game feels like light years ago. I mean, an entire month without a home football game. You come home this weekend, family weekend, which is always well attended. Weather looks like it's going to be in the upper 70s, 80s, a good day for football. Just how much did the crowd impact the game in that Upper Iowa game, and how much are you looking forward to duplicating that this weekend?
Yeah, first and foremost, Michael, I was pretty surprised when I came out to that first game at Upper Iowa. Like, man, this is a pretty neat atmosphere out here tonight, and Because the only times I'd played it or been over to Drake Stadium for a game is when, Granby would come over here and play. Of course, that was a good crowd, but, I just really didn't know what to expect, and I was blown away. Thought it was a hell of a crowd. I don't know what the announced was, but, and then I keep hearing, family weekend or, is usually the best crowd here. I'm like, man, if we can, continue to do that, this place could be really special. So I know a lot of people are coming back, and a lot of folks that I've, kind of met along the way here in the last year, and, former players, alumni. It seems like this is kind of the, Drake Relays is kind of homecoming, and this is kind of family weekend. So it'll be nice to have a lot of people back, and I'm sure a lot of our players' families are coming into town. Not that they don't always, but in Valparaiso, I think it's drivable. I don't know where their fan base, I know their roster might be from all over, but maybe we'll get a fair amount from over there as well. But we've got a big recruiting weekend, unofficial recruiting weekend. A lot of recruits will be on campus, so it'll be it should be a great atmosphere. And you mentioned the weather. My goodness, we're October 4th, and it's going to be. I think the last I checked, it's going to be, I want to say 78 or 79 at kickoff. Still a little unseasonably warm.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to those cold, crisp fall days. But
that's what I was guessing.
But it'll be good. Yeah. No, it's just good to be home. You've been on the road the last 2 weeks with 2 byes mixed in there. Yeah, it feels like forever ago that we were at Drake Stadium, and and this team. Certainly deserves it. They've battled and just got done playing 2 really good football teams, football programs, and and the effort they put in there day in and day out. Let's get as many people in there as we can.
Perfect way to end it. This is a one-on-one with Coach Woodley ahead of the Valparaiso game this upcoming Saturday.